Now, the point of general evaluation is for me to make comments and suggestions about the flow of the entirety of the meeting. All of the little details from when you first walk in to how the TME of the night presented each speaker and how evaluations was conducted, etc., etc., etc. Now, first of all, I want to say that when I first came in, I was so tired from a long day of work. First person I saw when I came into this building was Patty. And there's this thing about Patty where she's so cheerful. And whenever you see Patty, you just feel energized. And I think that's a very special characteristic. You don't see that kind of cheerfulness in a lot of people. And you can tell that Patty put in a lot of thought into how to conduct today's meeting. The first thing that she brought up today, well, she chose the theme of Lantern Festival, and she brought her own little lantern in to open up. And that's what thought is, you know. You put in effort to make these things happen. And so I really appreciated Patty's energy and her little tool to open up the meeting. Now, people don't usually talk that much about the timer and the odd counter, but these are very, very important roles in the meeting. If it weren't for the timer or the odd counter, we would have less of an opportunity to learn, and the meeting would be chaotic. We wouldn't be able to keep track of the time. And so thank you so much, Jax and Sherry, for being today's timer and odd counter. I do want to point out, though, that when you sign up for a task in a Toastmasters meeting, be prepared to explain what your role is about. Today I noticed that after Patty's energetic opening, the tone of the room kind of dampened a little bit when it was time to introduce the timer and the odd counter. And I think the main reason is probably because they weren't prepared enough to explain what they were going to do. And so observers in the audience would think, oh, what's happening? Like, who's the next speaker? What's going to happen next? So again, if you're a task taker, do be prepared to explain what you're going to do. John, next up, came in, and again, you can tell that John put in a lot of effort and he brightened up the room again by bringing up Illuminate. That re-illuminated the room. And I really like that because he chose a word that is tied to not only the day, which is Lantern Festival, he also tied it into the spirit of this club, Born to Shine. And I really appreciate that play on words, and thank God we got him to be our language evaluator today. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is leadership. In Toastmasters, we always talk about public speaking and leadership, right? We always talk about public speaking, but what about leadership? What does leadership mean? As I was sitting in the audience today, I felt like this is something that I want to address. A leader is somebody who you want to follow. Now, I first joined this club in September. The minute I came into this room, I was like, I'm signing up. I want to be a member. Because I see so much potential in leadership in this club. And what do I mean when I say that? Now, there are three things that I noticed today when I came into this room. First is emergency response. There was a speaker who wasn't able to come today. And when I came in, people were scrambling around trying to figure out what to do. Patty was trying to come up with other things to talk about. Walter was thinking about additional topics to talk about. And then Alex, thank God, Alex, you were here. Man, you know, not too long ago, Sonia delivered a speech about how to prepare for a speech in 12 hours or something. Alex, you need to prepare a speech about how to prepare a speech in 30 minutes or something. And in Taiwanese. And you kind of see how, you see the resilience of the club, how we're able to bounce back from these unexpected situations. And that's leadership. Leaders are able to cope with these difficult, unexpected situations. And I think that's very unique to this particular club. And I really commend everyone who participated in figuring things out today. Next thing I want to talk about is trust. So Kevin is our president. And one thing that I really like about Kevin is he assigns the tasks, and then he trusts that people will do a good job. And he gives advice on how to improve if people make mistakes. And you can see that whenever Kevin, you see this during his evaluations too, whenever Kevin gives an evaluation, he has this big smile on his face. And we think of leaders as people who are really cold and like ambitious, but sometimes leaders are people that make you feel warm. People who make you want to follow instead of demanded to follow. Another thing is, today in our evaluations, I don't know if people noticed, but our evaluators were on the harsher side of things today. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Today's speakers for the prepared speeches were very, very talented speakers, and they represented our club to compete in the regionals. And when you're such a talented speaker, if you want to improve, you really need to receive the hard advice. That's another thing that leadership is about. Sometimes you want your team to do even better, you got to tell them the hard truth, such as that one. But I also want to point out that our club wasn't lacking in encouragement either. After the speakers left the stage with their hard advice, John came up and encouraged the speakers again, told them how well spoken they were in today's speeches. And I think that really embodies the spirit of Born to Shine. So all in all, I'm very proud of everybody's performance today. I'm so proud to be part of this club. Thank you.
Wow.